Okay, let's talk about that amazing but super fleeting feeling we call inspiration. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That sudden jolt of energy where you feel like you can do anything. But then, it's just gone. I mean, we've all wondered this. One minute you're watching a video, you're all fired up, ready to completely change your life, and then you wake up the next morning and that motivation is, well, it's nowhere to be found. So what is actually going on?
You know, this exact feeling is what our source for this explainer, Chao An-Wen, felt while sitting in an audience. A speaker just sparked something in her, a new possibility. And that feeling made her ask a really important question. What does inspiration actually do to us?
This breaks down that frustrating cycle so perfectly, doesn't it? In the moment, we are buzzing with energy. We're imagining this awesome new version of ourselves. It feels so productive. But then, the next day hits, and that big idea, it kind of just gets forgotten. It's a pattern we all fall into.
So this brings us to our first big idea, something I like to call the inspiration trap. We're going to figure out exactly why that incredible feeling just doesn't seem to stick around. To really get this, think about a super relatable example from our source. When she was a kid, she'd save her absolute best stickers for a better moment. She thought she was being smart, saving the good stuff. But years went by, and those special stickers, they just sat there collecting dust. Does that sound at all familiar?
And here's the crucial insight. This wasn't really about saving something meaningful. It was about delaying action. What felt like this thoughtful, intentional choice was really just hesitation in a clever disguise. We tell ourselves we're waiting for the perfect time, when what's really happening is we're just not starting.
Okay, so let's get into the science of it, because it turns out our own brains are playing a really clever trick on us whenever we feel that big rush of inspiration.
It pretty much all comes down to this one chemical, dopamine. You've probably heard of it. It's basically the brain's feel-good messenger. Your brain releases it when you do something rewarding, and it's what makes you want to do that rewarding thing again and again. And this is the loop that gets us into trouble. We see something inspiring, our brain gets that nice hit of dopamine, and it actually interprets that feeling as progress. We get the reward without doing any of the actual work, so why would we bother taking the next step? This is the absolute core of the trap. Our brain starts to connect the feeling of being inspired with actual accomplishment. We get all the satisfaction of personal growth just by thinking about it, so we end up seeking out more inspiration, not taking more action.
So if just getting inspired isn't the answer, then what is? Well, this brings us to the biggest idea of this whole explainer, a completely new way to frame what inspiration is really for.
The huge mistake that most of us make is that we treat that feeling of inspiration like it's a destination. We feel that rush and we think, awesome, something good just happened. We give ourselves a pat on the back just for feeling motivated. But what if we looked at it in a totally different way? What if inspiration isn't the finish line at all, but it's actually the starting line? It's not the change itself, it's just an invitation to begin the process of changing.
And this really gets to the heart of it. Inspiration doesn't make the tough choices for you. It doesn't magically build new habits. All it does is open a door and give you the chance to walk through it. The choice to actually act, that's still all on you.
So how do we actually accept this invitation? In this last part, let's talk about how we can turn that amazing but fleeting feeling into real, actual progress. This is the question that really matters, right? The next time that moment of clarity and energy hits you, what is the one thing you can do to say yes to that invitation? Let's go back to that real-world example. Years ago, our source saw a YouTube video of a student debater, and she wasn't just inspired by the arguments, but by how confident the student was. That video was an invitation. It didn't change her overnight, of course, but it was the start of a process.
The trick here is to take one small, almost ridiculously small action while that feeling is still fresh. Don't try to plan out your entire life. Just write down the main idea. Send that one email you've been putting off. Spend literally 5 minutes Googling the topic. It's all about creating just a tiny bit of momentum.
And this is where the magic really is. These tiny actions shift you from being a passive admirer of an idea to an active participant. You're no longer just watching from the sidelines. You've actually stepped onto the field. And that's how real change always begins.
So, the next time inspiration strikes, don't just sit back and enjoy the feeling. See it for what it truly is, an invitation,
an opportunity. And then just ask yourself one simple question. What is one small step I can take right now to say yes?